Kind of commie, crazy bullcrap is this? This is the UK. Aren't you glad we had an entire war to get away from all of them? Like, they have
Right?
lost the plot.
And let's go to our second segment, what I like to call what communism looks like. I made that up. All right. So there was an X story that went viral about the British police. So this is British police, and this is from the Vigilant Fox, and says British police, you've made some offensive comments in Facebook, and we're here to arrest you. After 3 young girls were brutally murdered, speech is the crime that police focused on. This is the type of ish and why Elon Musk believes civil war is inevitable. So let's go ahead and check this out.
20 to 3, 1440, and arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. And just
What?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do not have to say that it may harm your defence if you don't mention one question, something which you later rely on court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being
You're
arrested.
going to be arrested, okay?
Right.
So you
And,
go to the police station.
right.
You, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So we need to ask you some questions about that.
Right.
Have you got anything in your pockets?
But why don't you just ask me some questions right here?
I've got my keys. I got. No, it's made it. I think keys.
So, anyone who's been arrested, we can search them under Section 32 of the Basic Criminal Act.
Right.
That's for dangerous items.
I mean, you said I was going to be arrested. And
Who's
Yes.
the guy that was on Beetlejuice? The original Beetlejuice. Doesn't he kind of like? Oh, what was it? It was Lydia's father, right?
I think so. It's been a
that's
long
so
time
weird.
since I watched that one.
Exactly. How much longer we go? Okay, we got about
It's
20 seconds.
It's only 20 seconds.
All right.
and some what information?
So
But I'm going to be
we've had
arrested for
reports that
posting on
you've made
Facebook.
some comments that are offensive, obscene, and people have made a complaint about that, and it's transferred.
And
they've
can
come
you-
from
can you tell
a
me what
Facebook
this
account
comment
in your
was?
name.
We'll do
Okay,
that
well,
all
we'll
in
do
an
that when
interview.
we interview.
All right. And so,
Okay.
what am I going to be locked up for the night, or?
Hopefully
Well,
not.
hopefully not. The times.
Yeah. So
What kind of commie, crazy bullcrap is this? This is the UK. Aren't you glad we had an entire war to get away from all of them? Like, they have
Right?
lost the plot.
yeah, and then they're putting on gloves. They're putting on gloves like, all right, now we're gonna need you to stand up, turn around, and bend over so that we can find these offensive comments. Like, like what exactly
I'm
are
about
they
to make some
thinking?
more offensive comments if you touch me with those gloves.
Oh my god. But yeah, so if this hasn't happened to your country yet, please take notes. Because I don't even think she believes it.
Don't give
I
up
don't
your
even
guns.
yeah,
Don't give up your guns.
give them up. I'm telling you. Oh, we're gonna talk about that next. But yeah, this is literally it. So for his words, but yet if you look at what's going on in England right now, and especially in London, like things have gone like completely haywire.
It's
And
upside down.
it's upside down. And where are the police? I've been looking at all these videos, and there are no police to be found with
None.
everything that's going on. None.
Now, I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with I don't know this. There's a guy named is it Tommy Robinson, I think was his name. He was an activist, right? He's been accused of being like a far right radical, white supremacy, all those things. And he's one of the people who's speaking loud and has been speaking loud about what's happening over there. Interesting thing is, I hear him say a lot about how I saw some clips from an Australian outlet today where he was speaking publicly and he was like, look, we've got blacks, we got whites, we got Sikhs, we got all kinds of people, but there's a radical group of Islam that has not integrated. They've not assimilated into the rest of society here. And since he was a little kid, there's been a problem with certain groups of gangs out of that group of immigrants that have refused to assimilate. have allegedly been drugging and getting young girls of the main population on drugs so they can prostitute them out. And his sister is apparently one. And he goes into great detail about it. And I'm like, bro, if that's really that's going on, then I can understand setting fire to the streets a little bit. Like, I'm not here to promote it. I'm not saying you should, but I can understand people's anger with that. I mean, we had one guy die by, in an arrest named George Floyd, and they set all kinds of things on fire here. The UK has decades of problems with just heinous things going unchecked by the police. The police are not doing anything. They would arrest, and for some reason, BLM even rioted over there for whatever reason. It's not even their. It was nothing to do with it. But the police didn't do anything about them. And now that you have 3 little girls that get stabbed, and then the police not do anything, and of course they run the pictures they run of these gang members are like when they're little kids. So it makes the protesters, which are like angry parents and angry family members, angry residents that have had to deal with this for so long, makes them look bad. And now the police want to crack down? Now they want to crack down? Like, really? Why didn't you crack down on the crime, on the actual crime that's happening? You're the guys that have had these growing numbers of, like, no-go zones over there in Europe. Tim Pool, early on in Tim Pool's YouTube channel, he went over, like, into Sweden and different places, and it was the same problem there. There's a group of people that they import, and they intentionally don't assimilate. They don't go in, they don't become a part of the rest of society, and it causes problems because
I'm sorry, just real quick. That's how you get those parts of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Where you get Ileana Omar.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
where they changed their flag. Their flag is like Somali Light.
Literally.
It sounds like a bad beer I don't want to drink. That you might have it might be, I don't know, I'm not going to say that next thing.
Yeah, let's
beer jokes. Beer jokes.
We're going to keep this PG. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, and not just that, but when you don't assimilate, like, there's no way for anybody to understand kind of like what happens in their culture. Like, when I went down to Central America, I knew I was going to see things that were different. Like, there were people that, I mean, they were riding their bikes everywhere. The traffic is different. Like, bikers, they just run in between. There's not really a speed limit. They have one, but nobody enforces it. It's just they're just different. They just live life differently. And sometimes it it becomes a problem because there might be something that they're doing that might not seem proper, to you, but to them, it's like, well, we've been doing this our since the existence of our of our entire culture. So why is that a problem now? And that's why it's so important to assimilate so that those things don't happen.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, it's not about, this is the telling thing. Early on, when problems first arise, it's very easy for the media narrative to be a bunch of racists because there's not a lot of precedent. Down the road, when you've got 2 and 3, we're probably going on 2 and 3 generations of immigration. And then it becomes a population issue where now you have an unchecked population and you have other people who have immigrated. Because in this modern first world that we live since the 90s, me growing up, racism, not an issue. Not that it didn't exist, it just wasn't an issue between myself and my peers, and playing in bands and whatnot. So all the guys that are our age that are over there have experienced that same thing to some degree, more or less, but there's this constant influx of people that haven't grown up in this culture, that have stayed isolated from our culture, from our first world, from our post-90s, post-Soviet era, post-Jim Crow era, right? They those people are still stuck in like what, the 1800s at the latest with their culture, or even earlier. They're bringing medieval level understanding about how things are, and they're just like, yeah, we're just going to do it like we always did it. We're going to bring the Middle East over here, and then, but you don't. What you have is now you have a multicultural section of people that are protesting it. An actual multicultural section of people that are protesting it, not just a bunch of white dudes that have been in England for generations. You have people that have come over, immigrated, had children, and their children grew up with all the Anglos, and they're together, they're hanging out. They're like, well, bro, like, I know your sister, man. Don't care what color I am or you are. I know your sister, and that's wrong. Like, that's the kind of thing that's happening now, and the police are having a hard time with it. But this is Europe. They've let it be this.
Exactly. All right.
I'm gonna stop ranting now.
No, that was your answer. I put a scrap rant right there in the notes.
Done.
Done.
Print.
All right.